Hello students, today we'll talk about the two sample test hypothesis test for small samples. المرة الماضية حكينا عن ال hypothesis test for large samples. In general, if the size of the sample is small, then we use the t distribution instead of the normal distribution. We'll see how. So the test statistic to compare two means in the t distribution is one of the both sample. The size of the sample must be lower than 30. حجم السامبلز لازم يكونوا اصغر من 3 حتى نقدر نحكي عن التي distribution. So both population must follow the normal distribution. The population must have the equal standard deviation and the sample are independent. هلا the first step we have to compute this quantity called SP. S1 is the sample standard deviation of the first sample. S2 is the second standard deviation, sample standard deviation of the second sample. N1 is the size of the first sample, N2 is the size of the second sample. So لما يكون معنا نحن two distributions أو two samples، أول step لازم نحسب السامبل ستاندرد ديفيشن S1 تبع أول سامبل، ثاني شيء لازم نحسب sample standard deviation تبع ثاني sample، وبعدين لازم نحسب ال SP score by using this formula. هلا في عنا كذا كيس مثل باقي الهايبوثيسيس تيست. في عنا الكيس H1 لما يكون H1 mu1 different from mu0. So as usual, in first step we have to define what is H0 and what is H1. بنعرف ال H0 و H1. The second step we compute the test statistic which is given by the following formula: T equal x bar 1 minus x2 bar divided by square root of SP square times 1 over N1 plus 1 over N2. So بنذكر انه x bar 1 the mean sample mean of the first sample, x2 is the sample mean of the second sample, و SP square شفنا انه هي حسبناها بهذه الفورمولا. 1 over N1, N1 was the size of the first sample, N2 is the size of second sample. Step 3, we compute this quantity T alpha over 2N minus 1. So هي بيطلع معنا ال probability T هي T distribution بنذكر. T distribution هي اللي حتخولنا انه نحسب ال T alpha over 2 according to tables. وبعدين اخر step اللي هي step 4 we take the decision if T اللي هو test statistic between minus T alpha over 2 and T alpha over 2 then H0 is not rejected. However, if T is not between minus T alpha over 2 till T alpha over 2 H0 is rejected. يعني بتاني حالة إذا كان small t أصغر من minus T alpha over 2 أو small t أكبر من T alpha over 2 كمان H0 will be rejected. هلا تاني كيس لما يكون عندنا H1 different from H2 this is called the two sample and the two sample are different. يعني عندنا T1 is different from mu1 is different from mu2. بقلب التيبل عندنا اثنين horizontal row في عندنا level significance for one tail test and level significance for two tail test. So mu1 different from mu2 نطلع بالتو tail test ما حنشوف بعد شوي. هلا الحالة الثانية اللي هي لما يكون H1 mu1 أكبر من mu2. Step 1 مثل عادي we have to state H0 and H1. Step 2 مثل step اللي قبل we compute T by the same formula. Step 3 we compute T alpha and minus 1 now, and this is given by another formula, the probability of T greater than T alpha, which is equal to alpha. T هي T distribution. يعني بهالحالة نطلع على level of significance for one tailed test. one tailed test يعني إذا كان H1 mu أصغر أو أكبر. different بصير two tailed test. بنحسب ال T alpha over 2 بعدين we compare T and T alpha. إذا كان T greater than T alpha H0 is rejected. If T is less than T alpha then H0 is not rejected. لما نطلع الكيس الثالث لما يكون mu1 أصغر من mu2 الأمور يعني صارت classical. Step 1 we have to define H0 and H1. Step 2 we compute the T test statistic which by given by the same formula. Step 3 we compute T alpha by using the same formula بس هون بننتبه انه لازم نستخدم ال one tail test مش ال two tail test. two tail test بس اذا كان different. اما اذا كان less than او greater than نستخدم one tail test. And finally we compare if T is greater than minus T alpha then H0 is not rejected. However, if T is less than minus T alpha, then H0 will be rejected.